Hello and welcome to Tangerine, Picard, aka me and Tony in a car going somewhere.
Just call it like Orange Talk or something.
Orange? Why can't we just call it Tangerine?
Is this a Tangerine though?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Picard, episode 2.
Okay.
Are we going to talk about episode 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you want to start with episode 1?
Yeah, start episode 1.
Okay. How does episode 1 start?
He's dreaming about data.
We
start on a dream on the Enterprise going towards Mars.
He's playing poker with Picard
and your towel is not having a towel.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, you're saying, okay, he had a pretend towel to try and trick Picard.
Oh yeah, that comes into the second episode as well. Because he's like, are you having strange dreams about an old robot?
Yeah, that's a common illness. What is wrong with it though?
I don't know. They don't say it because it's like futuristic.
Right.
In the future, they can cure a lot of shit we can't
They can cure cancer.
Yeah, they can cure shit we can't cure now. So they're like, oh, it's something, treatable but not curable.
We don't know what it is because if they didn't say what it is, it'd be stupid.
Yeah. But in the first episode, Picard's having sex dreams about Data.
Yeah, twice.
He finds Data's daughter, Daja. And then he's like, oh yeah, finally I'm going to solve this mystery. And then she gets blown up by Romulan secret agents.
Who split asses when they get captured.
Yeah, because it's so secret, even they don't know. What did they say in the second episode? They were like...
Oh, okay. So the secret service for the Romulans, I can't remember what they're called right now. But they were like even more secret than that, and like an ancient
The
relic.
Romulan secret police.
Yeah. I've completely forgotten what the secret police were called.
It was a name so hard to pronounce that even Patrick Stewart was struggling to pronounce it. But apparently they hold a secret so important that anyone hearing it would go insane.
Well, yeah.
But I'm like, why can they listen to it? Anyway.
Well, okay. Well, the secret, I think, is pretty much confirmed now because like this whole series is just like, oh, there's this thing. I'm going to explain to you what it is. Oh, this happens to be true. So I think from like what we can tell from the end of episode 2, pretty much everything the old Romulan friend of Picard is right. Okay. So the only thing they hate is in synthetics.
I watched episode 2 last night, so I'm probably going to talk more about episode 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dude, what was with the fuck? I swear those sex scenes were so graphic.
Were they?
Yeah, like when the Romulan's lying in bed with the clone thing. And I was like watching it. Well, I was watching it. I was like getting uncomfortable, like a little. Bit on this for so long. Why is this important to the story?
Yeah, okay, that scene took like 10 minutes of a 45-minute thing. It's like, and then nothing is said.
I'm like, okay,
Basically, he says, "Oh, I'm super secret."
Yeah, and he's like, "What is something you can tell me about you?" He's like,
"Oh, I'm secretive.
I'm a very private person." He's like, and then he comes out and he's like, "Can you keep a secret?"
Then there's like 10 minutes after that, like another scene happens.
No, because in that scene, like he gets kind of rapey as well. He's like, "I'm gonna make you shut up."
Yeah, I think that's just like playing up the Romulan thing. Like, oh, that's why she's like into it. She kind of likes the.
We need like Die Hard 4. We need full penetration sex scenes in Star Trek. That's what we need.
Yeah, like they were both like.
Never been done before.
They were both super clothed though, in terms of like wearing underwear.
Anyway.
But okay, I was gonna say, look, I think that scene ends, another scene happens, and I think another scene happens. Then it goes back to that. It's like another 10-minute scene of like, then it goes back to that. It's like another 10-minute scene of like, Daja's sister just helps some random person, and then they go and like, then they then go and takes a Borg, a dead Borg, ex-Borg, nameless guy's thing off. It's like, why is this necessary to the story? It's so slow. The
Romulans are on a Borg cube and they're calling it an artifact, and apparently they're studying it, but they don't want to act. They can't. The weapon can't be activated.
They're reclamating it,
but they're
like
get
it working.
They're scanning everyone to make sure that they don't get injured, and I'm like, well, if it's so safe, why all the security? What's going on here?
Well, I think they're saying it's safe and it's not.
It's purely theoretical, of course. Yeah. Also, can we talk about the Earl Grey product placement?
Yeah, every time he drinks a cup of tea, I think he has to say Earl Grey.
I'm fairly sure this. Okay, it's gone past Star Trek references, and it's at a point where CBS has got product placement for Earl Grey, because like the robotic woman comes to visit Picard, and he's like, "Ah, you're an Earl Grey girl. I knew there was something about you."
Yeah. It's like, did Picard ever care that anyone else didn't like Earl Grey?
And this episode, he goes to the Federation, which is the weirdest shit.
Well, he goes to Starfleet on Earth,
which is so strange because literally in the first episode, he goes, "Fuck the Federation, they fucked over the Romulans, fuck them." And then he goes up there and he goes, "I'd like a ship, please.
To help the Romulans.
One of your ships, please."
I'll even be demoted to captain.
Yeah, that was a moment they were like, "Oh, we can put that in the trailer." He said he's going to be a captain again.
I hate that. Why wouldn't he be demoted like even further though? Like commander.
I'll be demoted to engineering.
I'll be demoted to lieutenant commander. So I can be in line with data.
Which no, red is the old one.
Red is
right?
the original.
Yeah.
Then gold is like the commander. Then red becomes the commander of the next generation.
But anyway, isn't LaForge in the trailer?
LaForge is in the trailer, and he was mentioned in this episode.
And they were like, you could get
Riker, Worf, or LaForge to help.
He's like, no,
I can't do that.
He was like, no, I can't do that, because then if they die, it would be in my contract.
Well, they would say yes in a heartbeat, and that'll screw them over, so I'm going to go and get someone who hates me to do it. Because fuck them.
Yeah. But, so then he goes to this random woman in the desert, she's like, I'm going to shoot you, and he's like,
I got some wine.
What about the Romulan threat on Earth? I'm leaving now, goodbye. And she's like, wait a minute. But yeah, he goes to the Federation, and they're like, there's a secret Romulan plot. I'm not a crazy 90-year-old man who's said fuck the Federation on TV. I'm not a dangerous man.
Yeah.
And then they're like, he's on to us. And it turns out that there's secret agents in the Federation.
Okay. Also, I'm 100% sure that the admiral that he went to is like someone we know.
Right.
I don't recognise her though.
The woman with white hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's meant to be like the admiral from Next Generation.
Yeah, I thought
the Borg.
I thought I recognized her.
But I don't know if it is her or not because it's been so long.
Yeah, I thought I recognized her, but I was like, I'm not sure where from.
Yeah. It's just the whole episode is nothing happening. We don't learn anything.
Yeah. Apart from
everything I knew, we knew from the first episode. Other than the secret police.
We learned that secret police. There's the Romulan woman that goes with Picard to Daj's apartment.
Yeah.
Who gets more Irish throughout the episode.
And there's like 10 minutes of them fucking about on a computer.
And then he's like, you can't use Romulan technology. That's illegal in the Federation. He's like, we wanted Romulan technology. That's illegal in the Federation. He's like, we wanted you to think that it didn't work.
It's both illegal and unreliable. It's like, that's what we wanted you to think.
So then they start scanning this DNA, and then it's like a CSI Miami moment where it's like, but if they didn't check this thing when they scrubbed the apartment, then this would be here. Enhanced.
Okay, the whole thing is just Ben trying to find out where Daj's sister is. And it takes 10 minutes of fucking about in a computer.
And then they don't even figure it out, do they?
No, they do. They say there's somewhere off-world.
But the whole
That's it.
But the whole episode, right, he's saying, I need a ship to go and find Bruce Maddox. And then someone goes up to him and goes, do you know where Bruce Maddox is? And he goes, no. Where is he going?
I don't know.
He's just going to fly into space and go, we'll just go to different planets. I did this in the Next Generation. What the fuck about?
I predict they're going to do a Star Trek Discovery. They're going to get a plucky crew, and they're going to know way too much, and then find it by accident.
They're going to bring the woman onto the ship, Daj's sister.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name. Do we learn her name? I don't know. And then the Romulan guy will come with him, and he'll be a double agent, and he'll be working with the secret Romulan in the Federation.
Yeah, not the
that's in
Romulan
disguise,
in the Romulan.
Which we know is in disguise as a human, because she's like, brother. He's like, your ears look so weird. He's like, okay, she's a Romulan as well, okay. And he'll be a double agent, and then he'll be like, actually, I'm in love with the AI. I'm going to betray the betrayers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to turn around.
I predict the same thing, but not before there's like a gun holder over. Like, oh no, you can't do that.
As soon as I saw that young Romulan, the Romulan guy, I was like, oh, he looks exactly like a young Spock kind of character.
He looked like young Spock from Discovery.
Yeah.
Like very similar faces.
Because all the Romulans have like super weird like hair and ears and stuff, and then he's like looks so human, and they were like, we need to make a Romulan that appeals to young women.
Okay, the thing is,
like young Spock.
In Nemesis, though, they have so in the old TNG stuff, they had like really strong ridges that didn't look quite right.
Yeah.
I think in Nemesis they had like a good compromise. They looked more human. They still had the ridge. For some reason, they're not really bothering with the ridges anymore. Like, no one needs to see Romulan makeup. And he looks just like a human. He just looks like he looks like Spock.
Okay, this is my speculation of how they're going to find Daja's sister. Okay, listen here.
Right.
They're going to discover this Romulan plot. You know, they made Daja from a single particle from Data.
Oh yeah, okay. Actually, I want to talk about something.
Hang on. And what they're going to do is they're going to find a single particle from the androids that were destroyed on Mars.
So it was a positron because it's a positronic brain, right? But in Red Layer Media's review of the first episode, like, I want to be clear. Do you know what a positron is?
Nope.
It's just an anti-electron. It's like antimatter particle of an electron. So it's just an electron with a positive charge.
Right.
It's only, as far as we know at the moment, like it's exactly the same as an electron, other than it's positively charged.
Yeah, but it's like future technology, Tony, and it's like a third-party thing.
It's just a particle, like a really tiny particle, which Data would have had not trillions, like an unimaginable number of them.
The science of Star Trek kind of makes sense, but when you're thinking about Picard, you have to think about the writers of just writing plot devices.
Well, they quickly rewatched all the films, so that was like 6 hours of their time.
Yeah.
Oh no, they watched the one with Shatner, and there'd be 8 hours. And they went, that's all we need to know about Star Trek. We get Jay in, we get him on that stun, Data, Romulans, Borg.
But what I was going to say, it's like the new seasons of Doctor Who.
Yeah, it is.
They just write devices in that are plot devices to just fuck up. Just like, this doesn't make any sense, but I've been holding this device the entire time that's going to magically solve our problems. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, we're going to use the sonic screwdriver again to fix this problem. Okay. It's like that. They're just making up shit as a plot device.
They want to pretend they're like, oh, we're making like social commentary like all good sci-fi. They're not. There is no commentary. Like, it's just shit.
Yeah, why is the Federation so racist?
Yeah, they can't be racist because there's hundreds and hundreds of different species.
And it's like, the Federation hates Romulans now, will never...
Yeah, I would like to remind everyone, there was a Dominion War, which everyone hated, and the Romulans came to help them. And they would not have won the war if it was not for the Romulans.
And then...
is referenced if it was not for the Romulans.
And
is referenced in, like, the one before Nemesis, and during Nemesis.
And Picard went to go and save them from a supernova.
Yeah.
And then the Federation stopped him because they were like,
yeah, and no joke, they say something along the line like...
The synthetics destroyed Mars.
Even before the synthetics, 8 or 10 planets didn't want to help Romulans. Like,
out of like the 300 or something.
You have thousands of planets, hundreds of homeworlds. Why would you listen to 8 planets? Do you know how big the Federation is?
What you have to understand is Picard's Federation are a bunch of racists.
Yeah.
And the show's about racism, and the Romulans represent oppressed races.
Yeah. There's always been racism and like extreme like militarism in like Starfleet trying to take over the Federation. It's like always like a plot in like every Star Trek show.
Yeah.
But they do it because they do it because they love the Federation and they're not racist normally.
Yeah.
And then if there are racists, like they're accidentally racist and they don't realise, then Picard has to sort them out.
But Picard's version of Star Trek is a very different world.
Yeah, it's America. 2016.
It's CBS.
Post 2016. Yeah.
Fucking with Star Trek.
It's gone to shit.
It's too early to call it, I think. Like the first episode was so open-ended and surprisingly okay.
It was okay. I hated the second episode.
Yeah. It was pretty slow and not a lot happened. Like
nothing happened. We learned one word and everything else we did not need to watch this for.
Well, we learned about the secret plot of Romulans and the Federation.
We learned the secret plot and we learned that Picard's dying.
Yeah.
We learned nothing else.
What? I reckon that they made that doctor come along and say, you have a disease. Because, like, I think Patrick Stewart, you have to write into the script that I'm going to die at some point.
Yeah.
And we'll just do, like, 1 or 2 seasons, and then I'm like, I'm head out. I'm head out. Because he probably was, he likes to do plays and shit. Like,
yeah, he likes to.
He stopped doing the X-Men stuff because he didn't enjoy it anymore.
He likes just doing lots of small things, I think.
Like, when he stopped doing Star Trek, he was like, I'll never do it again, sort of thing.
Yeah,
like, he didn't want to come back. But they must have offered him some money he couldn't refuse, I guess.
Well, I think it was Comic-Con, he said, like, he was returning. He said he had a story of, like, someone came up to him and said, like, Star Trek Next Generation changed my life.
Oh, right.
And it's like, that was the reason, probably. And, okay, he also is on, I don't know if you noticed in the intro,
yeah.
He's actually a producer.
Oh, okay.
So...
He's executive producer.
Yeah, but he's actually, like, one of the first mentioned as a producer.
Because if you're a producer on a show, it's like people who run the show. But an executive producer, all it means is that you are financially invested in the show.
Yeah, so in this case, it's not entirely true. Producer is like a very nebulous thing. You basically go from anything from like not giving a shit to actually help write it. I think he actually helped write it.
Does he have writing credit?
He doesn't have writing credit, but he was in the board. Like he always says that he was like there, like when they were discussing episodes and things.
Yeah.
Which is similar to what they did in the end of Next Generation. Riker and Picard both were like both directors and producers.
Yeah. Well, Jonathan Frakes has directed a ton of films since he went to...
Yeah, he became a director from Star Trek, basically.
Because if you don't know, he did the Thunderbirds film.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Jonathan Frakes directed film. Which surprised me so much when I learned that fact.
Yeah, I actually really like his stuff, though, to be honest. Like, he doesn't do...
They could have got Jonathan Frakes to direct Picard.
Yeah, he can do...
They could have got Jonathan Frakes to direct Picard.
Yeah, he could have been in it.
Well, they mention Riker in the episode.
They mention him, but...
And do we mention the random woman in the desert that he apparently hates? And the thing, that was so weird.
Is she supposed to be someone we know? Or is it just the cliffhanger because, who's this person that he
I think it's
hate?
Who's this person, because I did not recognise her at all. And I think it's kind of funny how he's like, I can't bring someone along who likes me and would sacrifice himself for me. I'll bring someone along who hates me, because then if they die, I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's not on my conscience. Like the Mars apparent. Why does he feel like he's responsible for the attack on Mars?
I don't know. I think it's because he was friends with Data, the whole idea, and that's it.
He wasn't even that good friends with Data.
He was.
He wanted him disassembled at one point.
Okay. In the films though, he was. They were actually friends in the films.
Right.
Generation. Then as more and more seasons go about, he understood it more and more.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like in the very last half of the last season, like they were definitely friends.
Right.
But not to the extent we see. And I think the films played up the friendship way more, and then this is even more than the films, which is crazy. It's just, I don't know. I don't think they know what Star Trek is, though. I don't think they know how to write good stories. I don't think they know how to write.
But they showed the replicators on Mars.
Yeah.
Remember replicators?
I remember replicators. Everything's replicated.
I don't know why they didn't replicate plates.
Why is Picard replicating tea when he can basically grow tea where he is?
Why is he growing grapes?
Oh, because that's his family's wine vineyards.
Where is it? France or something?
It's in France. His brother...
Chateau de Picard.
His brother dies, I think, in the Next Generation film.
Chateau de Picard.
His brother dies, I think, in the Next Generation film.
Okay.
Or before that or something, because that's why he goes back and throws his priceless statue
What's the
away.
relationship between the woman Romulan and the man Romulan?
I think they're both... Oh, okay, I now remember the secret police name. Tao Xiao.
Tao Xiao.
They're both a part of Tao Xiao, apparently. That's what we also learned in this episode 2.
What, the Romulans
They both
Picard?
were a part... Yeah, both those Romulans were a part of the secret police.
Oh, right.
And obviously they became friends after Nemesis somehow. I guess we'll never know.
But he seems to trust the woman Romulan, and then he seems to hate the male Romulan?
No, they definitely I think he likes women Romulan more. I think he just, she's in charge, and then he was a sub-commander.
The thing is, if he was just gonna get... He wanted a ship with a warp drive, right?
That's it, yeah.
But...
He could
couldn't he just get a small shuttle?
with his influence. Okay, the thing about the Federation and Earth in particular, they don't have money.
The Federation.
Everything about them is based on reputation. He was an ex-admiral. Ex-admirals could always get, like, you remember in Next Generation, like, they went and picked up an old admiral that wasn't an admiral anymore?
Yeah.
That always happened. He could get a starship easily.
Well, he said fuck the Federation on TV.
He said fuck the Federation on TV, on Fox News.
Because you have that whole scene with the Doctor, which I think is for Patrick Stewart to not do more of Picard. But their reason was he needs to be ship-shape so he can go on a Federation ship. And I was like, why don't you just grab, the Romulan people, a small crew, and just go on a shuttle or something?
Yeah, here's the thing though.
Like, do you need a warp drive when you don't even know where you're going?
Yeah, this is so far in the future. I think like shuttlecrafts at this point can go pretty quick. Like, if they don't need to get anywhere quickly, they can just get a shuttle because they have warp drive. Really slow, but I think it's better than no warp. The shuttles you see flying, like, I can't remember if you remember, like, there was like a shuttle that launched up from Starfleet headquarters.
Yeah.
It would have had warp drive. It was like a version that would have had warp.
Yeah, but they'll write...
It had warp nacelles on the side.
They'll write, like, a different story to make sense.
All he needs to do is ask a friend, just lend me a shuttle.
But he was calling someone, wasn't he?
I think he called the person at the end. I don't know why, though.
Oh, okay. I'm bringing you a bottle of wine. And maybe if you have some tea Earl Grey.
Yeah, right near the end, he gets this old communicator, like with the old, the old Starfleet symbols. They've got a new Starfleet communicator now. And then he calls someone, we're assuming the person we see at the end. And then it's not explained, like, why that communicator only talks to that person, though.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it was 40 minutes of nothing.
Yeah.
But...
Or just them talking about absolute shit.
I feel like maybe it's an episode to build up for the next one.
Yeah, but stuff can still happen and build up.
Because nothing really happens in the first episode.
No, but at least tensions were set and things. This one, nothing happened.
Yeah,
no new tensions were set. Oh, that secretive Romulan is actually really secretive and evil. Oh.
They didn't need to make like a synthetic that was days. They could have just been like, Picard gets pulled back into the Federation for one last mission. He has to go across space with a ragtag. Like, they didn't need this massive, grandiose mystery plot to draw people in. Like, you could have done anything, Picard.
None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
I miss good Star Trek.
It's not coming back.
No. Like Star Wars, it's gone.
Yep. I thought you liked The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian is really good, actually. There's some slow episodes, but it's actually really good.
Alright. Well, we got 20 minutes of us ranting about Picard.